Well, hello folks. Time for a spring equipment lawn and garden update. As you know, when the spring comes, that means there's lots of outdoor work to do when you live in the country. And if you have an average or large lawn, certainly living in the country, that's what you want. So you need to have a dependable lawn and garden tractor. What you see here is mine that I'm getting ready to prep for the summer. This is a Cub Cadet, an 1811 hydro. It's circa like 1987, but Cub Cadet's equipment is well made enough that it's still running strong. I think we bought it with about 1,100 hours on, and we now have about 1,400 hours on. We bought it maybe 4 years ago, so we use it heavily, but doing the maintenance on it will keep it running for many more years. It is the garden tractor rather than the lawn tractor. There is a difference. The garden tractor's lines in mowers tend to be heavier built, and therefore I think last longer. So one of the things you can see we were able to get them to put ag tires on the back, more like large tractor tires. Since we use it for a variety of things, not just mowing, it makes the traction a little bit better. So what I've got to do here, I've got to do a number of things to get this ready. The first thing that you can see, I have taken the housing off the air cleaner. I've pulled the air cleaner off. I've cleaned up the outer foam filter a bit, and also checked and inspected the inner one, the main filter. It's not too bad. I will probably check this at some point midsummer, see if it's dirty enough to have to replace, but at this point I replaced it last summer, so far it's working okay. But that's one of the things you check. You just take the nut off the top, pull the metal housing off, and voila, there you are. The only thing you need to be careful of is when you pull this filter off, you will see a little hole going down into the engine. That's where your carburetor is. You do not want to get any kind of dirt or other foreign objects down there, so just be a little careful with that. One other little interesting tool or a piece of equipment you might want to invest in. That little tray there is magnetic. It's got a magnet on the bottom, and basically if you've got loose nuts and bolts, you can just throw them in there and they stay in place. Now this is of course clamped onto the metal fender on the tractor here. As you can see, it's on pretty firm. It won't go anywhere. I think I even got this as a freebie one week at Harbor Freight, so it's not all that expensive. It can save lots of aggravation because you don't want to accidentally kick nuts and bolts around or lose them when you're working. So not that I have that many for this job, but just to show you what's available when you do need some place to put your nuts and bolts while you're working. Now the next thing that I will also be doing on this tractor is I need to do an oil change. I haven't changed the oil since last year. It's definitely due for a change. And with this particular model of Cub Cadet, the oil plug is underneath the engine in here. I can't even get down to show you it easily. It's right on the belly of the engine. And it's miserable to get at just because it's also one of those in-facing plugs. It doesn't have something to get a socket grip on. You have to stick an insert up in like a socket extension or something. Now I know from having done it before that what will work for me is this configuration. This is a Torx T50 bit that will fit right up in there. I have the long extension and I have a 1/2-inch ratchet, so I can get up in there with that. They will tell you that you need to take the cradle that's on there, that hanging bracket for your mower deck off too in order to change the oil, but that's a pain, so I've found a workaround with that with this configuration, so I don't have to do that. So I drain the oil, and also you can see here is the oil filter on the side. I had to pull one of the side panels off to get at it, but that just spins off just like typical automotive oil filter, and I have another one of those. These replacement parts are easy to find. I'll just run to Tractor Supply and get filters, oil or air. You can also get them other places, the big box home improvement stores, maybe even where you bought your lawn tractor if you have a different brand, if you got one from say a Walmart or someplace like that. They often will carry those basic replacement parts, and they're not all that expensive, but they are necessary to maintain the life of your equipment. I know that if this tractor hadn't been well maintained before we bought it, it wouldn't still be running even though it's as old as it is. So what was done is obviously people did change the oil, change the filters, did the other maintenance on it. We've had to put some work into it, but it's mowed acres and acres of grass for us every summer. So, and then in the fall and winter we use the dump cart to haul wood or what have you with it. So it does a good job for us. Now the other thing that I'm doing over here is I'm getting the mower deck ready to put on as well. Now you can see it's flipped upside down here. That's because I needed to clean it out good so that it's ready to go. And in addition, what I did is I put 3 new mower blades on. There was nothing wrong with the old mower blades, but with this configuration, and I've heard this from other people who have had these 3-blade mower decks, there's a tendency for heavier grass to clog up easier underneath them. And I'm constantly having to clean out after I do some heavy mowing. I have to put it up on the ramps, the wheel ramps, so I can climb under a bit and do a lot of scraping of grass out, or it won't mow correctly. What my son mechanic suggested I try, and this is something he did with his own lawn tractor, garden tractor, he said get high lift or bagging blades, because they will more forcefully push the grass out, because it's designed to blow it so that it will go up into a rear bagger on these. And I do have a rear bagger for this tractor, I've just never used it. But one of the differences is, and remember this is upside down on the blades. If you look here, you can see this edge bends and this edge bends. These are the opposite sides from the blades. The blades are here. These wings are taller. They stick up into the deck more than the regular blades, and it creates more of a turbulence in there to stir them up and then blow them out the chute on the side. I'm hoping that that will solve my problem with the clogging, at least make it a lot less. That'll be more forceful to get the grass out of there. We'll see how it goes. The other thing is I may use the bagger this year. I'm thinking about using grass clippings for doing some garden mulching to see if that improves my growth and cuts down the amount of weeds. So we'll see how that works too. So this is basically all ready to go. I just need to flip it over. Actually, one other thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to paint the underside with some old motor oil. That helps a little bit more with lessening the friction so that the grass comes out. It also helps to condition the deck, prevent some of the rust. And just what I'll do is, after I drain the oil out of the crankcase of the tractor, I'll just take some of it with an old paintbrush and just dab it in there a bit and see if I can't improve the slipperiness underneath. But excuse me, other than that, it's ready to go. I just need to flip it over. But there's one other thing that has to be done this year, and that is I have a belt to replace. This is the main power takeoff belt. This is what drives the mower deck when you're running it. As you can see, my old one here is ready to split. So I had to get a new one. I got one online, and this new one is actually made out of Kevlar, so it should hold up a little longer. This was a bit difficult to find, excuse me, because it's a longer belt than you can find in most of the stores, and I knew that if I went to a Cub Cadet dealer they would have it, but I'd pay for it, if you know what I mean. So I got this one online, excuse me, a lot cheaper I think than if I'd have bought it locally. So we'll see how that works for us. And that will get my lawn tractor in operation once I get that stuff done. It'll be all ready to go. But I also have other equipment that I've been working on here, and I'll just walk you through those a little bit. One of my main pieces of equipment in the garden, of course, is a rear tine tiller. This is a Snapper 4 horsepower independent rear tine tiller. It's also from the 80s, and it still does the job for me. I probably should replace it at some point. I changed the oil in this yesterday. The oil plug, fill plug, is right here, and that wasn't too difficult to change. The oil fill plug is right there. So, and these just take 30 weight oil for the summer. There's nothing fancy about it. But the one thing I did have to do when I pulled the housing off of the air filter, yuck. So it's been a couple years since I've changed the air filter on this, so I've got to get another one. They have them, they're only, I think $5, $6, $7, something like that. Again, the big box home improvement stores or Tractor Supply have them. You can get them from Amazon. So I just needed to make sure I get the right size so that it fits in the housing there and does the job for me. So that's all that needs, and then that's ready to go. And then, of course, there are places on your yard where you can't reach with the lawn tractor or garden tractor. You need a hand mower. So I've worked on this mower. The oil didn't need to be changed. I didn't use it that heavy last year. The oil is still fairly clear, so I'm not going to worry about that. I did turn it over, pull the blade off, and sharpen the blade, so that's all ready to go. But this one also needed a new air filter. As you can see here on the side, I have it pulled off. It was pretty dirty, so I will also, and that one's just a foam filter, a big piece of foam with a hole in there by the priming plug. So that won't be that expensive either. Again, they have them all over the place. Walmart, the big box home improvement stores, Tractor Supply, anywhere they have those. But you want to check that every year too, because if that gets dirty, again, it inhibits the performance of your engine. It causes more wear on it. And if your goal is to maintain your equipment for years without having to buy new, you just want to do these regular maintenance things. Other than that, there isn't much else that I need to do. I have a couple places on the top of the mower deck over here, on top of where the blades are, that they're grease fitting, so I've greased them up so that the spindles turn easily and there's no wear on them. I've taken the cover off the top and examined it, cleaned the dirt out, and made sure that there's another belt on the top of that runs turns the three blades in sync. That's fine. I think I replaced that at the beginning of last year, so that one is good. That doesn't need to be replaced, so that should be all set to go. At any rate, these are the kinds of things you do when you live in the country to maintain your property, your lawn, your fields, your garden beds, whatever you're controlling out in nature. You've got to have the equipment to do it. And as you can see, as I said, you don't have to have the newest and most expensive equipment to make it work. You just need to have stuff that is made well and holds up. That doesn't mean you won't have breakdowns. You won't have to do replacement parts now and then or do repairs on it. But if you can make do with it and it does the job, hey, you know, why spend a garden tractor this size? Another Cub Cadet probably would cost me $5,000 to $6,000. So why would I want to spend that kind of money when for a few dollars a year I can keep this one running who knows how long? But we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's going on 4 years that we've had it, and hopefully it'll last at least another 4 years. So we'll see what happens. But this is what I've been working on yesterday and today to get ready for the grass growing season, which is soon upon us. So we will be back to you with more videos as far as what we're doing to get ready for spring and us maintaining the property in the spring, and maybe a few other tips that might be helpful to you. Please feel free to comment on our videos. If you have some other suggestions, we're always open to them, because we're not professionals at this, we're just people doing it. And please subscribe to our page for more updates. Thank you for watching.